a mirror on the wall, who's the finest watch presenter of them all? Oh, Marcus. Oh. Well, speaking of mirrors, the watch that's causing a stir here at Geneva Watch Days 2022 is the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Sejima limited edition. The Japanese architect is incredibly fond of the invisible train. So, the invisible train entirely mirrored. Let's make an Octo Finissimo entirely mirror finished, from the dial to the case to the bracelet. Let's dig in.
As a steel model, the Octo Finissimo Sejima edition utilizes the S variant of the case that measures in at 40 millimeters in diameter, 6.4 millimeters thick, and 46.5 millimeters lug to lug, with a height and depth rating of 100 meters that is screw-down crown secured. The Baroque sculptural geometry has been respected, something a modern icon requires even within the context of a collaborative design. But something as seemingly simple as rendering a watch entirely mirror polished, especially within the thoughtful context of Sejima's invisible train muse, gives the design new meaning. First, the Octo Finissimo was born in matte titanium, stealth and fashion forward. Then it later arrived in steel, with brushed and polished finishes that offered a more traditional decoration within the context of the Finissimo's distinct design. The full polish of the Sejima makes it appear like a watch brought back from a minimalist future. The standard Finissimo is certainly ahead of the curve and feature-forward in design, but the Sejima edition is a watch that, had it made a cameo in Star Wars or Blade Runner, would not seem remotely out of place. The dial continues the mirrored minimalism, with zero indices or text to be found on the mirror-polished disc that serves as the dial plate. The only three components that occupy the dial are the semi-skeletonized and polished hands, the hours and minutes found at the center, and the smaller sub-seconds hand once again asymmetrically placed near the 7 o'clock position. Normally, the conversation that extends around a crystal is limited to the material and its coatings. Is it acrylic or sapphire? Is it AR coated? On how many sides? The sapphire crystal on the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Sejima edition, however, is an integral part of its aesthetic. Subtle yet powerful, the sapphire crystal is adorned with a metallized pattern that casts a shadowed grid onto the mirror dial plate beneath. This livens up the look of the watch without detracting from its minimalism, utilizing shadow to create depth and the illusion of 3 dimensions. In line with the case, its bracelet is also fully mirror polished for the first time, the Y-shaped links polished on every facet. The rest of the bracelet follows the familiar format, super thin like the watch to respect its thin profile, with a top-notch 3-blade folding buckle that sinks into the bracelet to ensure there is no added bulk. The ample number of links assuages concerns of a lack of micro-adjustment, each link in of itself a relatively fine adjustment per addition or removal. This is due to a higher quantity of links, each of which are shorter in length from top to bottom than links you typically see on the market. The wide stance of the bracelet provides ultimate comfort as well, and will allow the watch to remain balanced on the center of the wrist once appropriately sized. Inside, you once again find the ultra-thin in-house BVL 138 automatic caliber. The caliber is wonderfully decorated with striping, chamfers, and perlage, with a Bulgari engraved platinum micro rotor that allows the movement to be more fully viewed as well as remain thin. While the caliber as a whole is a mere 2.3 millimeters thick, its small balance wheel is situated on a full balance bridge that better protects it against shock, something most designers would not bother to consider for their ultra-thin calibers. It also manages to offer 60 hours of power reserve, which is quite incredible considering its size. To commemorate the special edition, the sapphire crystal found on the exhibition caseback is etched with the words limited edition and Sejima's personal childish yet charming signature. Usually such etchings would kind of bother me. Just let me see the movement. But fortunately, it is done in a manner that by no means obstructs or diminishes the caliber's aesthetic beneath. Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking, scratch magnet. It was my first concern when I saw it myself at Geneva Watch Days. Incredibly though, once it arrived in my hands, I could not find a single blemish to the case or bracelet. As a model exhibited to the press, it was handled throughout the fair, but not one still or video, ours or anyone else's, revealed any major markings. Look, to be fair, this sort of watch with an elevated artistic aesthetic is highly unlikely to be someone's sole watch. It is a watch that elevates an existing collection further. Were I to be fortunate enough to own one, and believe me, I would like to, it would probably not be the watch I wear when I type up articles on my laptop, at least without long sleeves on, or join me on the tennis court. This is a watch best suited in moments of leisure and luxury, whether taking a stroll in the park, floating in the ocean, or flexing at a gala. Of all Finissimo designs, the Sejima edition is the most distinguished in finish and feel. To wear a Finissimo already separates you from the herd. The Sejima edition will distinguish you that much more, and that is what I love most about it. Thank you for watching. Full pricing and availability details will be in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for all the latest watch reviews, news, and content. I'll see you on the next one.